Kenya's independence in 1963, the founding father Mzee Jomo Kenyatta declared that poverty, disease and ignorance due to largely uneducated population were Kenya's main development challenges. The legislative leaders and the policymakers of the independent Kenyan Republic then crafted an Act of Parliament in 1965 to establish the Kenyan National Library Service, whose core functions include promotion, establishment, equipping, managing and maintaining the national and public library services in Kenya, enhancing stakeholders' participation for equitable development of libraries throughout the country, and advising the national government, county governments and other public bodies on all matters relating to library, documentation and related services.
It became operational in 1967 when the first ever public library was opened to the public.
The earliest public library in Kenya was Sir Saif bin Salim Public Library. Asian philanthropists established this library to cater for the information needs of the Asian community. Asians, and in particular the Indians, were brought into Kenya in their thousands to assist in the construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway, which started in Mombasa in 1898.
It was started in 1903 at the old town. It moved to the current building in 1957 when it was officially opened, and Kenya National Library Service took over in 1978.
In its service provision, Kenya National Library Service plays a dual role of Public Library and National Library of Kenya. The public library services are available in their 60 branches spread within Kenya, among them numerous community libraries. On the other hand, the National Library Services are available at the headquarters in Nairobi and offer the following services: preservation of the national imprint through the collection and safe custody of legal deposits of Kenyan publications, production of the national bibliography, issuance of the International Standard Book Number ISBN and the International Standard Music Number ISMN, provision of reference and referral services, provision of online database to researchers, stocking of specialized collections as well as specialized government publications such as Laws of Kenya, Kenya Gazettes and bound copies of past newspapers, and acts as a development information center for the World Bank. The public libraries offer book lending, library advisory services, technical assistance on library development to interested government and private institutions.
I have had an association which I appreciate very much with the Kenya National Library Services since the late 80s, for I was able to educate myself and sit for my accounting papers, and it helped me in my pursuit of knowing something about everything and everything about something.
KNLS and Ministry of Agriculture through National Farmers Information Service (NAFIS) has made it possible for farmers to access online information services and extension officers who respond to any of their queries regarding farming activities.
Miaka mitatu iliyopita library yetu ilipojengwa hapa ambayo inaitwa Mary Pash Memorial Library, nilijiunga na hiyo library. Sasa nikapata pale kuna journals pale, nikasoma nikaona kuna mradi ya kilimo pale, mradi wa ufugaji wa ng'ombe na ufugaji wa sungura. Sasa hivi vile mimi mtu wa kilimo nimeongeza mapato yangu nilipoanza kutumia mbinu mpya za kilimo.
Health workers are making good use of the Kenya National Library Service e-health corners for research and study and to seek information about treatment of illnesses. They are also able to interact with their colleagues all over the world and share new information on emerging diseases or researches on medicine and treatments.
I've accumulated tremendous amounts of data to answer some of the questions, because scientists know a lot of stuff that can benefit even the health system, teach, inform policy.
Having realized from the beginning that the Kenyan community is diverse, Kenya National Library Service, as an equal services provider, introduced services also for the physically challenged.
You have reached the end of the book. Next section.
And I've been getting more knowledge through these books and making my braille skill not to disappear or not to fade away.
Our partner, Kenya National Library, has really helped us to ensure that the students pass the exams. Our candidates have done very well over the years. In fact, the last year we got A minus, and that candidate is now doing a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery in Nairobi University. And several others have done very well.
In the larger Meru County, on the slopes of the beautiful Mount Kenya, apart from the regular traditional services, the personnel has innovatively decided to take the library literally to the villages, walking several kilometers in rural terrain. Among those they visit on a weekly basis is a group of mentally challenged children living with a condition known as autism.
Mi sikuwa na imagine wanaweza watolea vitu kama tablet, wakawatolea ni vitu expensive, na unaona hawa watoto wanarukaruka, wako na hyper, wengine wakaanza kuwafundisha, wengine wameshika, wamejua hata kuzioperate.
And as the sun sets on the slopes of Mount Kenya, the race is on to reach another group of challenged children, the deaf children of Kahaga Primary School.
I've seen them learning how to do computation skill with the tablets, addition, subtraction.
As they wind up the lesson, a temptation to take each other's photos is simply irresistible. Click and the image is stored until next time. But Meru is not the only place where children are on the tabs. These are the generation of kids on the tab. The Kibera Tablet Computers project is the first of its kind to be offered by Kenyan National Library Service. This internet-connected tablet computers have been preloaded with educational content linked to the national education curriculum to help children living in Kibera, the largest slum in East and Central Africa, improve their school results.
We will use the tablets to Google and get the answers that we needed. And in KCPE it was easier, and I got my 404.
Children who did their KCPE in the year 2013, whom we started training with the tablets in the year 2012, majority of those children have gone to provincial and others to national schools, and many of them they got over 350 marks.
In an effort to expand library services to all citizens, KNLS partners with communities to develop libraries in these areas. The development of community libraries is governed by the Community Library Development Policy and funded by the Community and the Constituency Development Fund (CDF).
There was need to increase the number of space available for people to read. The library became small and congested. So we, the Kenya National Library and the community came up and we solicited for funds. In fact, we were even given funds through the local CDF. The National Library contributed some funds and the CDF also contributed a part, and we put up a magnificent building which you can see around.
We find ourselves in a basin. We don't know what's happening beyond the hills of Marakwet. Neither do we know what's happening beyond the hills of Pokot on the other side. And we were killing each other like chicken, pecking on one another, because we didn't know anything better. But now with the Peace Library, a Pokot child will come there seek knowledge. The Lagam Peace Library has brought in something unique that if I want to access the internet, I will come. So it's not only for students. It is really bringing us together, even the elites, to come there and see even what is the latest book to read.
Communities all over Kenya are also encouraged to establish libraries in memory and honor of their loved ones. So far, several such libraries have been developed, among them Mary Parch Turnbull Memorial Library in Weruga in Taita Taveta County, Dr. Robert Ouko Community Memorial Library in Koru, Kisumu County, and Kibra Library, an initiative of Barclay family who chose to honor their son Alistair Barclay, who died in the Lockerbie bombing. After the Libyan government compensated them, they chose to use the funds in establishing a library to assist the vulnerable communities.
We sent out a questionnaire out in the community to find out whether the idea was a good one or not. And the questionnaire came back with an overwhelming support for a need for a community library in this community. So we thought this was a befitting memorial for somebody who loved books and who loved to impart knowledge.
when I retired, I had to give all my books to Narok Library, so to encourage the Maasai to develop a culture of reading. If you go to Narok Library, there is a corner called Timama's Corner. It has got my picture and it has got all the books that I donated.
We are now in a new constitution. A new constitution, the public libraries, it's actually the function of counties. As they establish the new libraries, the Kenyans, we are ready to give them any kind of advice that they may need, from technical advice and everything that we'll give them.
Education for all is a United Nations rallying call that no one in the modern world should remain uneducated in the 21st century and beyond. To achieve that, KNLS has invested innovatively in 4 mobile bus libraries in major towns. Unlike in other provincial libraries, KNLS was unable to offer motorized mobile libraries in northeastern part of Kenya due to poor roads, temporary settlements and nomadic lifestyle of the communities. Camels, which are the predominant mode of transport in the region, offered a perfect alternative. Kenya National Library Service started offering the camel library services in Garissa in 1996 and 1999 in Wajir, operating in a radius of about 15 kilometers from the static libraries and targeting school children, adult learners, social workers involved in various community initiatives, and retirees. In Murang'a and Karatina in central Kenya, National Library Service has opted for motorbikes that take book boxes to schools. The motorbike book box service is a collaborative effort between the branch libraries with schools.
Kisumu Library covers the whole of Nyanza, and due to American Corner, we have come up with programs that are covering the western part of Kenya and eastern part of Uganda. We have Google+, we have Skype, just to enable us to reach out to all these people.
This place has given us opportunities to nurture our talents in different ways, like drawing, singing, dancing, poetry. From the activities, we like to communicate peace, love, and unity.
One of the products that we provide at all of our American corners is called the eLibrary USA. And this is a collection of over 40 databases now that you would find in U.S. colleges or public libraries.
Development of these libraries has been possible with the support of government grants, development partners, and in the community, where the community contributes buildings, and the local MPs through constituency development funds will refurbish the facilities, and KNLS will provide qualified librarians and stock the facilities with books and other modern digital library facilities.
For us, the Kenya National Library Service is a valued partner, and we provide a whole range of books, from Kenyan and African literature through to English literature, through to practical manuals about agriculture, about health and well-being, and indeed about how to develop to the maximum.
We are happy to see an exponential growth in the use of the modern technologies, particularly the ICT technologies, by Kenyans. And for these reasons, we intend to ensure that through the Kenyan National Library Services outlets, they can also be able to act as community telecenters or ICT centers for where people can be able to access information from their portals.
With the e-resource centers in place, KNLS Murang'a launched the basic ICT skills training in April 2013.
Those who graduated earlier, they have been employed in local cybers and photocopy services which are outside here. Also, we have those who are doing their research
we are embracing the partnership kind of development approach, because partners have different interests in different areas.
We have a product here at Laugh Industry called Kids Festival, where we bring children together from all walks of life to come and interact, read together and have fun. What we are trying to achieve between KNLS and Kids Festival was trying to encourage reading from not a school environment, making reading cool.
For the last 5 years, KNLS has witnessed establishment of 13 libraries, modernization of 15 through automation, and refurbishment of 10 others across the country.
Our policy in access, make library accessible to Kenyans, whether physically or remotely. And I think there's a lot of mileage in emphasizing the element of digitization.
But all these has not been without its challenges. With only 60 branches in various parts of the country, it is evident that a larger area is yet to be covered and reached.
Currently, Karatina Community Library is very congested, housed in a very small building, which was formerly the maternity clinic. The aeration is not very ideal for a library, so there is that need for expansion.
The board has prioritized Vision 2030 as one of its key programs in terms of service delivery. What we have done at the moment, we have one major flagship project which we are implementing in Nairobi, a state-of-the-art national library of the country, where people who will be going to seek for information at that center will find it to be an experience to go to that library.
The plans that we have in the future for this institution is to make sure that at least every county has a library, every constituency have 1 or 2 libraries, wards have a small library, in fact even every village to have a library.
I work hard so that in future I can be a lecturer. When I grow up, I would like to become an engineer.
There is a saying that goes, that a reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. Kenyan National Library Service will continue to offer access to information and promote reading for knowledge, information and enjoyment.
Education is the only thing that can really better your life.
It's only education which can make you think outside the box.
If you think books are expensive, then try ignorance.